Whereas NalGuidan, obviously it's the unknown factor. You don't know as much about him, so you don't know what kind of decks he will play. I'm obviously looking forward to see his decks in action, because I don't know much about that player. I know he's from Argentina, and I know he had a lot of success over there. And he's actually the only guy from North America, from the North America region, basically.
That holds
from there.
Quite a bit here. NalGuidan throwing back 3 cards, and already looks like a very similar style here as we've seen from both RDU and Orange. Lifecoach taking his time.
Well, we've already got a lot of information here. NalGuidan is playing, as you said, the mid-range hunter. We don't know exactly which version yet because there is a couple. Also, there's a lot of room for innovation, changing a couple of cards. For Lifecoach, it's a mech mage. It's a mech mage with mirror entity. So we know that this is not the mana worm portal thing. This is mad scientist mirror entity, and he is looking for a 2-drop basically, like Mech Warper, Snow Chugger. But keeping the Blast Mage in the opening hand, or thinking about it.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Keeping the Blast Mage, of course, if you get those mechs, it's going to be perfect on turn 4, but it is a 4-mana card. Oh, and he gets the Mirror Entity. A new Mirror Entity back there, right there for Lifecoach.
Yeah, a bit of an unlucky start for Lifecoach. There's only this 1 drop, and he doesn't really have anything for turn 2. And turn 3 Mirror Entity is not the best play that Mage can do, especially because you want to set up the board early and snowball from that.
It is kind of risky to actually keep the Blast Mage, especially because if you don't have the coin and the extra card that comes along with it, your curve is more likely to fail. And what is really important about that Mech Mage is that curve. So if you, like Lifecoach right now, top decking drawing a 6-drop and a 4-drop after mulliganing away a Mirror Entity and getting 1 back, just makes his hand so poor. And if he mulliganed the Blast Mage away, he would have had an increased chance of actually getting a better curve.
Yeah, so it looks like he's kind of forced to use that hero power to get rid of the Web Spinner.
Wow! King Crush for NalGuidan.
Web Spinners are just handing out legendaries all day today here in Katowice.
Yeah, that's just incredible. Also, the Piloted Sky Golem for Lifecoach is a bit curious. It's not a card you usually see in a Mech Mage, but it is a card you can definitely play on curve, and it fits well on turn 6.
All right, so what do you do here with NalGuidan? Of course, you have the coin, but nothing to really... I mean, you could bring out the bow. You have 2 bows in hand. But on the flip side, you do have that Web Spinner too.
Well, I think developing a bow is alright. You want to deny the mech, you want to deny the technician being a 4/4 and giving a spare part. So having this bow online before you do your next turn play is always good, because you will be able to trade with whatever Lifecoach plays next turn.
Yep.
Unless it's a mirror entity, you don't have to trade in that.
Well, definitely the only card on mana curve here, but it's also just a secret being played out. Turn 3 or 4, not going to really bank on getting something amazing out of it.
It's not that bad for Lifecoach anyway, because this hunter is a mid-range hunter, as we mentioned. It's not that fast. It's more about the board control. Even though Mech Mage would love to be super aggressive versus this kind of hunter, because with Juggler, Unleash the Hounds, Hunter will be able to take over the board control. But for now, Lifecoach has time. Even though his hand is bad, against the Face Hunter, this would be terrible for him.
Right on.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about the Animal Companion, as we see right here, it's actually not a minion card, so it doesn't rock the Mirror Entity, which is amazing for NalGuidan in this situation. He can follow this up with a potential Houndmaster on turn 4, and he has the weapon to actually deal with the Mirror Entity Houndmaster if he wants to do that.
That's a solid point. He can really flesh out his next turns. Going to be pretty straightforward from Lifecoach as we move on. Now, is that really what he's going to go for here on NalGuidan's side?
Oh, wow, Hunter's Mark. It actually creates a new situation here. You still buff the Leok, but you can deal with the 4/5 using Hunter's Mark and attack into the 4/3. So you still develop a very strong board and deal with mechs on the other side.
What's way better, though, on the other hand, is Web Spinner. Because giving him a Web Spinner for the Mirror Entity is very good here, because then after you play the Web Spinner, you can play Unleash the Hounds for 2 minions and Hunter's Mark on the Yeti to deal with the whole board, and yeah, just having him just give him a bad minion for
Yeah, that would have been definitely a little bit more of a deep thought process there. He's still going to use a Hunter's Mark on the Yeti. And just make sure he gets rid of that. Both players will get that spare part.
Well, this way, NalGuidan was able to keep the Unleash the Hounds for the future turns. Lifecoach has a lot of cards in hand, so if there are mechs like Mech Warper into Snow Chugger, maybe like double Mech Warper, there is a possibility that Lifecoach is going still to play his whole hand almost on one turn, where Unleash the Hounds, if this happens, Unleash the Hounds will be a great card as a follow-up. For now, well, there is not much Lifecoach can do really. Like, not even
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he has all these cards in his hand still playing Mech Mage. Even with that Mech Warper, as you mentioned, it's just a Chugger, and then, I mean, you can't play the Sky Golem still because you'll have used that 2 mana. Yeah, you can get the Chugger, but then you can't combo it into the Blast Mage. I mean, the combos just aren't lining up just yet. Still hungry for that mana for Lifecoach.
He would love to play the Blast Mage and kill Leok with that, but there is no way to activate the Blast Mage from this hand.
No, sir.
All right, so what he can do is ping the 5/3 to ensure that both minions die when they want to trade, and that's the best he can do.
Yeah, that's such a passive play, but again, like you mentioned, the best option he had, so just gonna run with it there for Lifecoach.
Yeah, Lifecoach just really has to make do with the forehand he has been dealt with.
Meanwhile, NalGuidan.
Well, from like NalGuidan, he has to extend his board presence, trade those max, and start doing damage, developing minions as well. I think Mad Scientist is in order. Killing. Like, the question is, do you want to freeze yourself, or do you want to freeze one, like, lose one of your minions?
Oh, well, looks like he's just gonna go for
Face?
Okay.
It's up a really nice Blast Mage if he actually doesn't kill the Chugger.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, he is gonna get rid of that. Again, I mean, you've taken so much advantage now, I feel like it'd be kind of silly to leave a mech on board. It just opens it up. You know that Lifecoach is struggling with what he has in hand.
NalGuidan just has to stick to his guns, has to stick to his game plan. He was trading all the time with his minions and his weapon and stuff like that, and instead of going face, so he now has to keep going with that plan.
Well, staring at Lifecoach's hand, you know there is like at least 3 cards and 2 spare parts, so a possibility of a Blast Mage is pretty high. But then Lifecoach did pick that Anayatron, which is very important. He will be able to activate the Blast Mage.
Yes,
and is it going to kill Leok?
Oh, wow.
Lifecoach having like the reverse RDU.
Yeah.
Blast Mages.
That doesn't feel too good. I mean, yeah, the Anayatron is still going to hold up for a little bit. You got the Blast Mage on board, but that's not what you were saving them up for, sadly. Well,
what you can do here, can you unleash? And because you get the +1 attack on those dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe there's like a good way to trade. If you get... what do you want to spend? Like, do Mad Scientist into the shield and weapon attack into Anayatron, use the
that's
dogs?
what I was thinking. But then, I mean, saving the Leok with just 1 health, is that... I guess you already unleashed the Hound, so now you've committed to that. It will always draw out either a ping for 2 mana, which is pretty costly at this point for Lifecoach.
Could just see a freezing trap to get rid of that Blast Mage effectively.
That's true too. Of course, there is that second one for Lifecoach, but NalGuidan, he's gonna think it through one more time before he finishes his turn.
Oh, he gets a freezing trap with the Scientist instead.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Developing the board and dealing some damage finally.
All right.
Trading.
Oh yeah, that's actually the best play. Just use that Leok that's going to die in like effectively.
Because it only had that 1 health, and this way you still get something on the board. The secret is going to be a little bit of a question for at least a turn here for Lifecoach.
But in that case, what was the point of sacrificing the Scientist there, since he did have the freezing trap in hand anyway, and the opponent doesn't even have a minion that can be frozen. So
I think the merit here is that you do filter your deck, so you're not going to throw another freezing trap. And with Mad Scientist on board and playing your own freezing trap, the Mad Scientist is going to die, and it's never going to bring the trap there. So this way, at least, NalGuidan ensures that he is going to get something. And the 6/4 into the freezing trap is nothing really exciting for Lifecoach.
All right, it's gonna kind of wrap things up here. For Lifecoach, still wants to think everything through before he moves on with his turn. And NalGuidan, now both players already have kind of figured out each other's hands. I mean, not down to the details, but you flushed out pretty much everything you would have had in the beginning.
For Lifecoach, it's good that he has the taunt, because at least Piloted Sky Golem is going to get some value. So how does NalGuidan deal with this situation?
Not too many new options.
I guess he can use the web spinner to see what beast he gets and then kill it. Oh, that's a good beast to get. A 3/5 body that can maybe even remove whatever gets...
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, you can take that out with the weapon. It's gonna hurt a lot, though.
Yeah, we're going to drop down to 12, which is in range of 2 fireballs.
Yeah, I'm not...
Pretty sure he still has to go for it.
Yeah, because otherwise you'll take more, right? I mean, you leave that alive, you're going to take at least 12 then at that point, unless you get some other way to
Well,
get
not
rid
really,
of
because
it.
there's still a freezing trap on the board, but as long
you're
as
right.
that taunt remains in play, he can't attack anymore with his minions.
It's true. So he's just going to get rid of it. You can't bank on that freezing trap too much.
All right, well, as the minion. Oh, the Suspicion Assassin is going to get killed by the Kodo or the knife.
It's got to be the
It's
knife
actually
here.
mini mage, not
Oh, it's all.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
It was a stealth and a one.
Oh, and he gets the knife, so...
Yeah, he got it. Lifecoach is
There's
just
a
ready
Lifecoach,
to fight it.
Lifecoach can't believe it.
Well...
Yeah, luck definitely not on Lifecoach's side this game. Neither
Does-
with the opening hand, nor with the blast
No.
mages, nor with the jugglers. Nothing going right for Lifecoach this game.
Does he still have a chance to win if he gets a fireball? If he pings and frostballs, that's 4, and then
Yeah. Do you start making the run for it here? I mean, you are 9 points ahead. Of course, we see that there's the King Crush on the other side for NalGuidan. From turn 1, really.
I think being Lifecoach here, you just want to limit the damage and ping the dog, frostbolt the juggler, and develop the blast mage, because blast mage deals with the free 5 without any problems. So you are able to stabilize the board, and you are still at 21. So there is a possibility of getting something big like Antonidas, which is not great with the spare part, but still is a big minion, or Dr. Boom.
All right.
It all kind of depends. If you expect your opponent to just outshine you in the late game with his drops, then going for a risky line of play, like for example frostbolting phase, and hope you can burn him out eventually, then might be more important.
Whoa, Dr. Boom has a huge draw
Yeah,
with
oh
those
my
medium.
God.
And the Rusty Horn, too, there for NalGuidan. He wants to pop that on.
And there's still the freezing trap that was not activated, so for Lifecoach it looks really dire.
Yeah, I don't think... it's going to be really tough, right? You're going to have to just get the absolute best cards. But then you have the King Crush, too, so I actually think this pretty much spells out.
Yeah, that's lethal
GG.
next turn. That's
Yeah.
a GG. Mech Warper can still grant Lifecoach at the horn to get a taunt. That will save him,
Yeah,
maybe.
with the Technician. Okay. I mean, you gotta go for it. You gotta use them all up.
You need that taunt if you want to survive, but then you're still dead, Lifecoach, with his life on the line.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, he gets it.
Wow, he gets the Rusty Horn, but even then, what are we looking at here? Because he can still clear it, and then it's 8 and 8, so 16 damage, guaranteed to go through.
I'm sure Lifecoach is not playing around King Crush.
Yeah, 16 and no hero power, so...
I want to see Lifecoach faces, because Lifecoach is really expressive when something happens, and he feels like this game he got really unlucky with the plays and with everything that happened. So when he sees the King Crush, it will be the ultimate like humiliation.
And from game 1, not the best way to kick things off, but he's gonna... Okay.
He's preparing Dr. Boom
To get rid of it.
Yeah. Because he might actually trade here.
Yeah, well... Now, I think you definitely clear here for NalGuidan.
But there's still a freezing trap, so he can't really attack.
Yeah.
Well, if the
The bot hits face.
If bot hits face, that's it.
It's a pretty low chance though here. Okay, and it's only 2. All right. I mean, so NalGuidan, like you keep mentioning, definitely feels all right because of the freezing trap. He has a second one too, so he's not worried about extending the game. So at this point, in fact, in NalGuidan's shoes, personally, don't play it risky. I just play it slower, if anything. You've got the hero power too.
Yeah, with the information we see right here, it's just a matter of time.
All right, look at Lifecoach, guys. King Crush is going to get dropped.
No
Lifecoach? No reaction at all. I'm surprised.
I'm pretty sure Lifecoach already dealt with the fact that he lost this game already. Even though he survives this turn, he is most certainly gonna die next turn.
Well, I think maybe what's making him a little bit more confused than being surprised is that obviously this doesn't guarantee the lethal this turn. So then probably trying to figure out what can I draw to make something work out of it, which I can't think of a single card that can really take care of this board.
There's absolutely nothing that Lifecoach can draw.
Yeah.
What's amazing looking at this board is that both Kodo and King Crush are the web spinner cards.
Yeah, you're right.
And you know what's crazy? Stampede Kodo is actually not a Kodo, it's a cleft hoof.
I keep reading about this more and more recently, but that's true. But I don't think NalGuidan's too concerned about that right now. As long as he gets the job done, right? Doesn't matter what you call it.
Yep, the last play for Lifecoach is to attack with the Blast Mage, get it back to his hand with the Freezing Trap, then play Piloted Shredder, replay the Blast Mage, activate the Battle Cry, and crit with every hit to face, dealing 3 points of damage each.
Yes, I see that happen all the time. The crits from the Blast Mage in Hearthstone. But it's gonna spell the end here. Yeah, I mean, no matter what it hits, right?
Yeah, there's like...
He's just playing it out.
The Boombot was not hit.
Yeah, that would have made things a little bit more exciting perhaps for us, but that's gonna be it as King Crush charges forward, and then the tiny little Boombot bringing the win for NalGuidan here in set number 1.
Oh wow, EU versus US. 1 for the US.
Wow.
Well, technically, it's Argentina.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, not the US, but we'll just call it the Americas.
The
You know, we like to do
Americas,
that.
true.
Us Americans,
You're right,
we
you're
just
right.
say Americas, and now everyone's one big happy country. But what do you guys think? I mean, so we've got that Hunter now out of the way for Lifecoach.
But when you're up against one of the masters of handlock, which is Lifecoach, it's going to
Yeah.
be a tough game for NalGuidan.
All right.
For
well,
sure.
we're right into the mulligans right now, and we already see 3 minions with more than 7 attacks, so definitely going with a little bit more of that standard handlock here for Lifecoach.
Yeah, more traditional build for Lifecoach. The only card I'm curious about is Draxus, if he's running it, because Draxus is like coming in and out of his decks. But then NalGuidan is playing a standard Oil Rogue, maybe with some innovation as well, because those different versions, they have a couple of cards different. Sometimes they run Dr. Boom, sometimes Gadgetson, sometimes Deckhand to be a bit more aggressive. But this matchup is really difficult for the Oil Rogue, I will say. It's not like... I think Handlock has an advantage, but then for Oil Rogue has a lot of different and difficult decisions to make, because you
Right.
have to get them to endgame, and you can win with a big flurry, but you have to lead into that. You definitely have to draw a lot of cards.
Yeah, it requires a lot of finesse, but I think that's part of the reason why so many people enjoy playing Oil Rogue. You know, similarly with Miracle Rogue in the past, but a little bit more, I'd say, with the Oil Rogue. Just a lot of those minute details that you need to pay attention to. And of course, nothing going to be of much use for NalGuidan early on. It's going to be pretty slow early on for both sides, I'd say.
I didn't really catch that. Did Lifecoach keep his whole hand, or did he mulligan into that?
I think he kept it the whole
Yeah,
hand.
it ended up he kept the Dr. Boom too. Yeah, you're right.
And the Molten Giant.
Yep.
Oh, wow. I did not expect that.
Well, if Oil Rogue gets really aggressive, and well, also Lifecoach is not sure what kind of rogue it is. If it's an aggressive rogue that Doa mentioned before, you do want to have Molten Giant just in case. And other than that, his hand was pretty okay with the Healbot and Molten Giant.
Yeah, the Mountain Giant definitely a very tough card for Rogue to deal with, because if you sap it, you can just replay it very easily, and it just applies so much pressure. You have to deal with it as soon as possible, because the Mountain Giant just denies the Rogue what he needs in order to win this matchup, which is time to get those big blade flurries.
Yeah, right now for NalGuidan, this hand is pretty tough. Like, there are no free drops, which are very important in this matchup. You need something, as Ikop mentioned, to be able to kill the Mountain Giant, not sap it. And then he has the sprint, which is important, but there's no preparation to play it and draw into those cards. NalGuidan needs something more.
Yeah, meanwhile, Lifecoach, he's just going to be waiting for the next turn when the Mountain Giant can't draw either this turn, because then he'll throw a card away, he'll burn it out. So, just thinking through, of course, and now there's going to be a lot of options starting next turn for Lifecoach. He's going to be able to play things back to back.
There's
planning
obviously
things
the
back
option
here.
to just live tap and hope you get something like an Ancient Watcher that you can coin out or whatever, but then you... Yeah, then
You run the danger there. So...
NalGuidan's hand is so awkward. He can play the Violet Teacher, which is great, but there is no spell to follow up. You don't backstab your Violet Teacher. Also, backstab... Iko, what do you think? How important backstab is in this? Like, can you use backstab in this matchup?
Backstab is often very important, actually, if you combine it with a Blood Mage Thalnos or Azure Drake, especially. Especially with the Blood Mage Thalnos, actually, in the early game. One of the best ways to actually clear a Mountain Giant that comes down onto the floor is Blood Mage Thalnos into a Backstab Eviscerate.
Okay. Now, of course, the combos being there. The Twilight Drake just getting drawn for Lifecoach, so wants to use that up first, and then he can go to the Mountain Giant next turn and have a more fleshed out turn.
Yeah, definitely going for the higher health minion first is better here, especially because the Twilight Drake, he wants to get rid of the Rogue's minions as well, and the Twilight Drake does that way better than the Mountain Giant would. First of all, because it has more health, and second of all, you don't feel bad about attacking minions with Twilight Drake, whereas when you go with for an 8 attack on a small minion like that, then you kind of feel bad about it.
So NalGuidan already going with the sapping the Twilight Drake and getting some tempo, trying to extend the board. And what's important is that Lifecoach does have that Shadow Flame, but can he really cast it at some point?
Keep in mind, Lifecoach will also overdraw right now.
Yeah, right now. And the Defender of Argus getting burnt out. Good catch, Shekop.
That's the only taunt giver he had. There is one taunt, but then that Defender of Argus might have been really important for this match.
Yeah, especially with a double Molten Giant in hand, you definitely want the taunt giver to back those up.
Well, what do you do here? I mean, you've got the Belcher, as you mentioned, Nimsh. Got that other taunt there, but then the Mountain Giant has been sitting in his hand waiting for his time to shine.
You want to prepare for Shadow Flame next turn. So what do you play to put somebody on the board to be able to trade with minions, possibly? Lifecoach is not that much concerned, I think, because it's not like he's going to die in one turn next turn.
Right.
He still has the heal bot and the Molten Giant. So basically for him, it will be good if he drops down, because then he will be able to play those Molten Giants, heal himself up, and keep the pressure and win maybe in 1-2 turns. But for now, he needs to value the cards in his hand. Like, do you want to cycle Mortal Coil into the 1-1, or do you want to develop that 8-8, or do you want to maybe get the Twilight Drake again?
All right, well, Belcher going to go out. He'll definitely last a little while.
Now that Lifecoach has seen the sap gone, he's definitely more confident about just playing a clunky minion like that. And also, he actually has the possibility to just clear the whole board, no matter what, with Mountain Giant and then coining out the Shadow Flame.
Okay, yeah, he still has that coin, you're right.
But then he won't be able to play a Dr. Boom, which is really important to have in this matchup. Because Dr. Boom is also one of the most annoying cards to deal with if you're the rogue player.
Yeah, but with all these apprentices coming out from the Violet Teacher, that Shadow Flame is going to be a high priority for Lifecoach, no doubt.
Yeah, he most certainly has to do it. There's no way he can sustain this much damage.
Unless he gets something like an Iron Beak, then maybe, or Ancient Watcher. There is another Defender of Argus for Lifecoach.
Yeah, gets that. One more chance to taunt something up, of course. Will he use that this turn?
Well, Lifecoach is a player who takes his time. There's a lot of cards in his hand. And
is that true, really?
I guess.
I've never heard that. Lifecoach taking time at Hearthstone. Who would have guessed?
I mean, look at those options that Lifecoach has. I don't really blame him for that.
No, of course not.
And even if there was like only one really good option, which is in this case Mountain Giant to coin Shadow Flame, you definitely also need to think ahead 1 or even 2 turns.
Exactly.
And then why not use this turn to do that?
All right, well.
This is exactly what Lifecoach is doing in general.
Yeah, and you know, perhaps that's why he's at the top of the rankings right now. You know, he takes his time every time. If something's obvious, then like you said, that chance to think about the next one, because your time's going to be limited in the end.
Now, NalGuidan actually gets time because the board got cleared. Lifecoach is still apart from the Molten Giant range with 17 points of health, so NalGuidan can just replenish his hand and try to aim for really strong plays coming forward.
Yeah, he's got a couple options to work with from those draws. Nothing that synergizes immediately, but
To just snap play Dr. Boom. It's turn 7. Go. Move out.
You gotta go for it, I would say. It's just way too good to not play it against the rogue deck.
Yeah, I see no reason not to, and that'll help you lead into the next ones. If you get lower, you can...
Then the fan.
Okay.
So he decided to not prep the fan, which would have been an alternative, because then he wouldn't have to face tank this Dr. Boom right now. But he wants to keep... He could have, for example, just use the prep for the fan, and then finish off the Dr. Boom with the South Sea deckhand. And just save the weapon basically as well. Yeah,
but on the other hand, Saucy Deckhand represents so much damage and activation that's very cheap for Tinker Soil. Right. So
it's very true.
And he's definitely happy that Azure Drake survived as well. That's something that Lifecoach will have to deal with. If Azure Drake stays on board, it feels so bad. Like if you are playing against Rogue and there is this Azure Drake just staring at you.
Because it's a high priority, but it's not like the strongest of minions. You've got to invest something in it, and it's already taken 2 damage, so now it's really awkward. And actually just no immediate way to deal with it for Lifecoach other than defensively with a taunt.
With so many cards in NalGuidan's hand, Lifecoach definitely has to be worried about his health total. 17 is very easily burstable by the Rogue, especially because he didn't play any Eviscerates yet.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, lots of stuff still in the hand and deck for NalGuidan.
Well, he has to play the taunts. If he doesn't, NalGuidan has like Weapon Up and Tinker's Oil with the deckhand that might be possibly lethal.
All right, the Shredder coming out.
If there is a sap, that will be it. There's no sap for now.
No.
Yeah, Lifecoach obviously not playing around Sap because he saw one already.
All right.
Is there any merit in Preparation Sprint? Probably not. I would like to see Lothep this turn.
Just a slow thing, because you can't really deal with that Twilight Drake immediately. Well, unless you want to invest your first oil into it.
I guess it is okay to use the first oil because you will just use the Blade Flurry in this case
Right.
as well, I would say. You do have the means of actually dealing with the board this way.
Okay, looks like, yeah, he's just going to go for that. He'll get the combo too, of course.
And he deals a lot of damage in the process as well. Twilight Drake is going to hurt a lot.
Yeah, it's true. This way you can save it with that spell power on top of the Blade Flurry.
Well, he has to think about Molten Giants if he wants to deal damage to face, and it's definitely tempting to go there.
Ooh, just going to go all... No, he's not going to go all out with the Thalnos, but...
Is he no respect for Molten Giants?
Wow, okay.
Well, you have to go for it. I mean,
yeah.
It put him down to 5 with just Eviscerate range already.
Yeah, and I think after the Blade Flurry, because you couldn't avoid the Blade Flurry not hitting face, right? So NalGuidan was kind of forced to, but at the same time, he had to clear it. Otherwise, that Twilight Drake was a bit of a threat at 5-9.
Also, NalGuidan has seen one Defender of Argus being burned, a second Defender of Argus being played. So he might take the risk here that there is nothing that Lifecoach can do, and even if those minions that he has survived, he can just sprint to get that Eviscerate.
Yeah.
But look at this guy, the Azure Drake still on the board, and Lifecoach has no effective way of dealing with it right now. The Azure Drake is just going to eat the giant by himself, almost.
Yeah,
That's actually crazy.
True. Wow. But thankfully, he does have to. Yeah, he's calculating everything because he does have the heal bot for Lifecoach, so he's going to play the giants out first. Healbot was fishing for something else, something a little bit more active than the Watcher, but he'll still be able to get the taunt down from the Sun Fury Protector.
That's still such a powerful turn for Lifecoach. Double Molten Giant for free, Healbot and a taunt, 4 minions just like that, getting him not sure if it's the safe range, but it's definitely not a bad situation.
Both players actually very much on the edge right now of defeat or victory.
Yeah.
Both players at 11 health with it, which is basically nothing with a kind of board like this.
You know? Well, all right. Well, the Giants are taunted, let alone taunted. They both also obviously have 8 attacks, so NalGuidan needs to find a way to deal with kind of everything here.
Can you yellow sprint and try to get preparation oil? No, that won't be enough mana. Like if you need a weapon, you need a oil for one. Yeah.
Is there still a preparation in the deck?
I believe we've
I think there is one.
seen
There's
one.
like 2 Eviscerates still left as well. So
Yeah,
if you just sprint and draw like preparation, double Eviscerate.
Yeah, the Eviscerates could come through, but All right, well, he's going to see what he gets from the Shredder, which isn't too helpful.
It's kind of like a blank. He can deal 2 damage to board with Larry here. Actually 3 with Thalnos.
Okay, the Thalnos, and then you've got the deckhand.
Oh, but that you would have to face the giant here.
There's a Eviscerate.
Okay. Well, that's going to help get rid of one of the giants if he wants to use it. You still have the deckhand too. So at 3 mana, instead of using the Blade Flurry.
Such a tight situation. Like he is facing his own death if this doesn't work.
Wow.
Wait, this is it. He can kill.
Actually,
First he won off.
actually, that was so risky though, because now he just dies to a Hellfire or Dark Bomb or something like that.
Yeah, it was risky, but you know what? I agree with it. At that point, Ecop, you mentioned it yourself. They were both at do or die time. So if you don't take the risk, you're actually just kind of giving the turn. You're just postponing things, and then Lifecoach would have had more control.
However, he could have just used the South Sea deckhands to deal with this giant instead of just.
Yeah,
like,
I would have liked to see the
heroic
deckhand being used there, but I think he's a little bit hung up on using the deckhand for a finisher. So it looks like he got a little bit caught up in that.
Oh wow, Ragnaros. Oh
Are
my
we
God.
here yet again, ladies and gentlemen?
33% for
Wow.
Lifecoach.
2 matches. This is a lot tougher than it was for Orange.
Yeah, also NalGuidan has a lot of burst there because with Eviscerate, that's 5.7.
No, yeah, he's done if he doesn't. Even with the heal bot, I believe 6. You've got the Thanos too, and then the deckhand. So that should spell GG. I think Lifecoach has to. I mean, you see how many cards he has. Even if Lifecoach can't see the cards, yeah, you got it. He says,
going
"What
for it.
the heck? Let's go for it."
Ragnar is going to enter the field. Who is going to win? Who is going to lose?
Drum roll, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, he got it in his face.
He
Look at it. I'm
oh
so
my
happy.
God. Lifecoach. Today's game number 2.
Wow.
So already in the quarterfinals here, in Katowice. Wow, NalGuidan does not
just so sad.
look happy. But of course, overall score-wise, that ties it up 1-1. But definitely the emotional momentum going over to Lifecoach. Gotta be a happy time. Of course, we saw a similar moment earlier with Orange. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll be back.
Once again, he's still in this match, and he definitely just calm down.
Yeah, mindset is really important in those tournaments.
The mental game, especially in Hearthstone, where it really is all your mentality, right? I mean, there aren't any like micro things or anything like that in Hearthstone. So we'll see if NalGuidan can pick things back up, and maybe this is where that experience comes in handy for Lifecoach. NalGuidan hasn't had to be on this stage or this kind of stage in this moment where he got disappointed in his own play and deck. We'll see how he pulls through.
Well, for now, NalGuidan is looking good with SI7 Agent, Violet Teacher, and the coin. He also has the Oil and Flurry, which is not that great in the beginning, but then he will be able to use it later. No preparation for now, and Lifecoach has to throw away his whole hand, which is reasonable. We see one Savage Roar, which means that this is possibly the double combo, or a mixture of one combo and mid-range minions.
Right on. Well, hopefully we'll get a little bit more information once he goes through with this mulligan.
Lifecoach definitely just looking for that good old wild growth. Doesn't find it though. Oh,
Chuck
man.
Nourish.
Yeah, the Nourish is there, and then the Kezan Mystic we saw too. And Ragnar is coming back, maybe making another big play for Lifecoach later on down the road.
That's actually a terrible hand.
It seems like he's playing kind of the same version as RDU did. They are teammates after all, so we will see how it goes. But this hand is just terrible.
Wow.
But look at Lifecoach. Even though he got this hand, he's just smiling. He knows like, huh, okay,
Yeah.
I just won with Ragnaros, and even though this hand is bad, he can still do it. He's actually playing with
he's playing with his board there. Meanwhile, NalGuidan definitely not having that much leisure. After that last game, I think NalGuidan really wants to bunker down here and focus.
But nothing puts you in the saddle as well as like a good game where you have the curve and SI7 into SI7, Violet Teacher, Lothep, that's good curve.
What do you guys think about coining out SI7? He
like
has a
it.
pretty sick curve with SI7 into Violet Teacher into Lothep, and he's going for that, it seems.
Yeah, both of you guys mentioning that, I think you have to. I mean, especially seeing that, all right, well, there's nothing early coming out from Lifecoach. It is Druid. Might as well.
He gets a free drop. Wait.
For a second, I thought I missaw it. I was like, really? But wow, Lifecoach just gonna have to hang out with Shapeshift for a long time.
I've seen those hands before. Druid is a deck that can actually make it back. Like even though you get this really bad hand, you do have to swipe somewhere at some point, maybe clear the board with Force of Nature, and then start building up with those bombs. Like when Lifecoach gets to turn 7 and starts dropping those big minions, NalGuidan will be in trouble if the game is still running.
And the Innervate here, so you can bring out the Sky Golem for Lifecoach if you really wanted to. Does he feel that threat though? I mean, it is only 4 health. It's probably going to get taken care of pretty easily.
But then you get a minion, so I think it's still worth it.
Yeah, I mean, you get something sticky on the board, right?
He doesn't even have a fight drop. Like, I can't imagine Druid not having a fight. Well, he has Nourish, but not basically what I would like to have.
I really like the line of play that NalGuidan is taking, by the way. Many players probably would have saved the SI7 just because you are like, oh yeah, I have to make use out of the battle cry,
combo,
right?
yeah.
And nope, not this time. Like NalGuidan knows exactly that. You know, SI7 isn't even that useful against Druid to begin with, the battle cry that is. So all he needs to do is just apply the pressure. Druid has a hard time dealing with a bunch of minions early on. So yeah. If NalGuidan just keeps up the pressure with Violet Teacher and Lothep the following turns, he just can close out the game very quickly.
Oh, all right. Lifecoach looked like he made his mind up, but okay.
Playing Kezan Mystic because he doesn't have the turn 5 play, so with Innervate he will be able to Innervate Dr. Boom on 5. And what's the best mechanism to get back in the game? Dr. Boom on turn 5.
Yeah.
Or 4 with coin.
Even better. But yeah, Dr. Boom will help. And the Kezan Mystic, of course, not going to see any use against enemy secrets against the Rogue. So, all right, either soak up some damage or put something else on the board for you to use next turn.
For NalGuidan here,
Do you clear that off?
I think you do, because if you play Violet Teacher, you don't want to get into a situation where Kezan Mystic is going to attack the Violet Teacher and a simple shapeshift is going to kill it. So here's a fair trade. Like, you free drop into a 4-drop, it's good, and you still keep the board pressure, keep the board position. That's pretty nice.
All right, well, this turn kind of spells itself out, although Lifecoach is thinking a little bit.
The wild card arrived like 2 turns too late.
Yeah. I feel like everything from now on is going to arrive pretty late for Lifecoach. He had everything else from the beginning. But innervate Dr. Boom.
Innervate Dr. Boom, and you know there's probably no BGH, but if there is a sap, what does it even mean? You won't be able to replay Boom on 6. He's going for Dr. Boom, which is the correct play.
There is that sap for NalGuidan.
Yeah, usually it hurts you very much to sap Dr. Boom. However, if the Dr. Boom was innervated, it's much more pleasant to play a sap than Dr. Boom, that's for sure.
And he's got the Violet Teacher too, so you know everything is kind of falling into place still for NalGuidan. Obviously, this matchup again, you got to kind of wait and see. Druids can climb back in, but I don't think he's too concerned here.
On the other hand, that's if you sap, your curve is pretty awkward because then you only have free mana.
Yeah,
so
I was about
it's like
to say that.
Spending the whole turn on sap.
I mean, what other options do you really have, though? Because the only one that wouldn't have felt awkward really is Lotho, because everything else were 2-drops here, including his hero power, so just going to send that back.
That's okay, you could just hero power up. That's alright, I guess.
Yeah. See where the Boombot's hit? Okay.
That's okay for him.
Yeah,
like,
that's pretty good, actually.
not killing the SI7.
Uh-huh. And
SI7 is down.
You spoke too soon.
But
well, the Violet Teacher is still on board, so it's not bad for NalGuidan. He's the one putting pressure. But then Lifecoach is getting to those big minions now.
yeah, now he's really weathered the storm enough. And again, we talked about NalGuidan, took advantage of it early with the agents, but they weren't able to do too much.
Well, look at this. Piloted Sky Golem on 6 into Dr. Boom being replayed on 7 into Ragnaros.
Then, yeah, Ragnaros.
Can NalGuidan finish the game before those big bombs actually take it over?
Wow. I don't... It looks a little bit risky, right? Looking at NalGuidan's hand. His hand is all set up for like finishers and combos, but not to deal with all of these minions on board.
I honestly think, though, that if the Rogue loses, it might have come down to actually trading the Kezan Mystic away. NalGuidan had actually the game plan to apply this pressure, right? And he just played a really good curve, but he didn't capitalize on it by going for phase all the time. That 3 damage that he didn't hit with an SI7 when he traded into the Kezan Mystic might come into play here.
Wow, that is the top deck. Even though, again, his mana curve will be awkward, he is continuing to put pressure on board. Sapping that might be useful here.
Yeah, so the sap code, Lifecoach just shaking his head, really? Again, but there we go. That's another token coming out. Yeah, the Down-Nose coming out right there too, and then might as well get a fresh weapon off of that.
Lifecoach needs a swipe. Swipe will be nice.
And will he get it? We'll see as soon as the draw goes through here for Lifecoach.
Man, that sap was so crucial. I don't believe it.
Well,
yeah, right on time for NalGuidan.
Basically, for 2 mana, he was able to cancel Lifecoach's 6th turn.
Do you have to like make some calculations how much mana that sap was able to burn?
Yeah.
You traded 4 mana for a total of, well, if innervate counts as 2 mana as well, I guess, right?
Yeah, because the first, wow.
He burned like 4 plus, he burned 9 mana.
13, 9 mana, yeah, for just 4.
A 9 mana advantage.
Well, that's,
I think Dr. Boom is still the play here.
yeah, why wouldn't you, you know? It's Dr. Boom. I mean, if Dr. Boom is green on your screen, you gotta put him down.
There's like basically not many options there.
It's Dr. Seuss for Hearthstone right there.
How much damage is there incoming with Oil and the Blade Flurry?
Ooh, good question. Well, we'd have...
That's 8 plus 5 on board, that's 13. So not there yet. Like even if he's able to activate it.
Okay, and he's gonna get rid of the Thanos. I think smart choice.
6, 8. All right.
No, well, yeah, definitely not lethal yet after taking care of that Thanos. So, but I think ECOP, you keep bringing up a good point, right? You got to go in with that same game plan you had from the beginning, and the moment of truth is here again. Yeah, that Dr. Boom is pretty threatening, but he does have the oil and 2 Blade Flurries. Do you just kind of push for it? Maybe you just put the Lothar down and try to weather the storm for one turn from Dr. Boom.
If you put the Druid on 9, yeah, it's really tough because there can be Ancient of Lore, there can be a Druid of the Claw.
Yeah, keep in mind both Seps are gone, so if Lifecoach hits a taunt, it's going to be
pretty much
hard
game
to push
over right
through.
there, yeah.
I think you just have to develop the board. Just play either Azure Drake or Lothar. Is there any merit in getting 1 Flurry this turn to get a bit damage and get another 1/1 token?
Yeah, but keep in mind the boom bots, right?
Right.
They are threatening to kill your minions.
Yeah, if
that
they
way.
clear out the teacher, then well, that's kind of rough. I mean, okay, do you play it now? I guess not.
I think
Maybe.
NalGuidan has to YOLO here because he doesn't have any good way to draw cards. So he's
Okay.
going to use this Flurry.
He does get another token, so maybe that can help soak up one of the bombs. It is going to. One will hit the teacher for 4, but still going to stay alive, so...
However, now we see that NalGuidan has actually nothing to combo this Tinker's Sharpsword oil.
He doesn't have to. Oil still represents 8 points of damage. Well, 7 with Flurry.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
Yeah, next turn you can just weapon up and then the oil into the flurry.
So now the question is, can Lifecoach has to clear the whole board?
How does he do it?
You can use Keeper.
Yeah, I feel like you got to use the keeper because you definitely don't want to hit the teacher with like face or something like that.
True.
But then again, like being Lifecoach, you have to think, how do you win the game? If you just trade and lose everything, you might be trying to not lose, but then you might slip. Like the chance to win the game might slip. So you might make assumptions that there is no lethal in hand, possibly with those 4 cards.
Right now,
Okay.
he is a long way though from actually winning, even if he goes for face with the boom here.
Yeah, so I feel like you're just kind of fighting to stay alive, but you still got to use the keeper of the grove, and then shapeshift to get rid of the token. Keeps you at 11. Still have 2 minions on board. Sure, one's at 1 health, but no minions on the flip side.
If he can shapeshift, well, it's like if he shapeshifts into the free one, he's dead.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Really?
Not something I was really considering.
Face. He's dead.
Hit face. Yeah,
the
that
game is
should
over.
be game here for NalGuidan, because he does have the sharp sword oil.
Yeah, weapon up, sharp sword oil. Oil gets 4 attack on weapon, and then you attack for 8, and then use the flurry. That's it. And NalGuidan is going to take game number 3, extending a lead over Lifecoach 2-1.
All right. There we go. Wrapping things up with the Blade Flurry NalGuidan. As you mentioned, going up 2-1. His rogue coming back to win him a set. And making things once again pretty interesting here against Lifecoach. I mean, the starting hands really weren't in Lifecoach's favor. I think he weathered the storm pretty well. But in the end, NalGuidan does play his hand pretty correctly, I'd say, given what he had. So we'll go to a quick break, and then we'll...
Mulligans right now.
Oh, Lifecoach, that Ragnaros is back. It really just loves hanging out with Lifecoach, I think. He's gonna need to say goodbye for now, though.
Ragnaros has something with Team Nihilum. It's like, it's coming back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. They just keep hanging out. Not so much great for RDU, but hopefully it works out better for Lifecoach here.
Wow, that's a good start for NalGuidan.
Yeah.
Basically, versus Druid, you can take 2 routes. One is very aggressive, so you coin out Juggler or Shielded Mini-Bot, probably Juggler, see if there is a Wrath or anything else, then follow up with Mini-Bot. Konghammer, maybe not, because you do want to try play the True Silver to be able to deal with Druid of the Claw, but then you are very aggressive. The other approach is just to sit back, produce a lot of dudes, and then when Druid gets the board, equally consecrate and start from there.
I'm actually really curious about Lifecoach's decision here to mulligan away the Wrath, if he's actually going to do it, because this Wrath is really important to stay alive with this kind of hand that NalGuidan has. It's the only way for him to deal with this Knife Juggler at the moment.
Well, thankfully he got some things to play, right? So we're gonna say that thankful for Lifecoach, he won't be holding off for like 5 turns like he did last game, but NalGuidan's not gonna give him that much breathing room.
It's kind of a recurring threat for Lifecoach, a recurring theme,
Theme,
for Lifecoach.
yeah.
A recurring theme. He was just always going for those risky mulligans, as we've seen. We've seen it.
true.
We've seen it with the Mech Mage. We've seen it with the Warlock as well.
Yeah.
And now with the Druid versus Paladin, could punish him.
Well, NalGuidan is going with shielded mini-bot as opposed to Juggler to protect him from Wrath and deal some damage here. It's going to pay... Well, it's not really going to pay off, but still Lifecoach is taking damage here, and NalGuidan has an amazing curve, let's say. He still misses Master for Battle, but if he gets it by turn 5, that might prove to deal a lot of damage. Lifecoach has no swipe in hand, but he has a good curve, more or less, like turn 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, it feels a lot better, and that's going to give him some room to work with. As you mentioned, don't have the muster yet, so it's not going to be a complete snowball for NalGuidan. But Lifecoach definitely feeling pressure already here in turn 3.
Kazan Mystic again, another card that's going to be used versus Paladin. I don't think NalGuidan is playing any secrets, even though he can.
Yeah, not as common anymore in these decks here for Paladin.
That Lotep is so important. It fills the curve perfectly. There's going to be a truth. Well, this turn you just play the Juggler and go for face, and you're just really aggressive. With this curve, you can be. There's nothing stopping you.
Yep. And these Jugglers now a huge threat against that Shade too, because there's 2 of them. Lifecoach.
There was also the option of just playing the Coghammer, because I don't know what the True Sliver is going to do exactly next turn. I guess it's going to kill the Keeper. Maybe he was setting up for that.
Okay, yeah, it could help out here. Yeah, definitely going for the 2 damage.
I like getting to silver on 4 versus Druids. Not only you can probably kill something on 4, like Keeper or maybe Kazan, and then you have it for a Druid of the Claw to be able to finish it with an attack and shoot at mini-bot. Just playing your Lothep next turn. So I like the play of Juggler, but here Lifecoach, well, do you attack and kill the 2/2? Your minion, or like a Juggler, your minion is going to get killed. You have to think, and at the back of your mind, you have to think about Master for Battle. And 3 tokens getting spawned.
Yeah, that Juggler.
Lifecoach, I think Lifecoach can definitely save this Shade, keep him in hiding for a while longer to make his combo even better. You don't really have to be afraid of that much burst coming out of Paladin, obviously, because Paladin doesn't have like a big combo that can end the game very quickly. And yeah, with 21 health still for Lifecoach, there's no reason to actually. He doesn't really have to kill the minions immediately.
All right, looks like he's gonna go for what feels like the safer route here from the get-go. But also, yeah, he didn't really have to worry about the knives either, because he had 2 minions on there. Chances are the Shade was gonna stay alive.
Well, here I think you do play the Coghammer because you are able to. Well, it's actually really weird.
Yeah, things did get a little weird here. Ikov mentioning perhaps last turn could have made it a little less awkward.
This only shows that Lifecoach made a good decision. He was expecting a True Silver weapon, and this board is awkward for True Silver weapon.
That's right.
So he knew that if there is Master for Battle, which was not played last turn, and it was a very good spot for Master for Battle, then he assumes that there is no Master for Battle, there is possibility of a True Silver, so there will be no knife to kill the Shade, and he gets value for killing the shielded mini-bot almost for free.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. So Lifecoach kind of throwing down the question for NalGuidan. He's gonna answer as best as he can, but doesn't feel too good.
We kind of missed that NalGuidan got Dr. Boom, and this creates one of the most monstrous curves I've seen in a while.
Load them into the Sky Golem, into Dr. Boom. We'll see what Lifecoach draws meanwhile. He does have the Azure Drake. Lifecoach's hand doesn't look too bad either going out from here.
Yeah, he will be able to play that Azure Drake, get a card, have a 4/4 minion on board, even though it dies to the weapon.
As surprised as I was when I saw the one piloted Sky Golem that build that RDU brought, and Lifecoach as well, I'm even more surprised now that I see 2 piloted Sky Golems.
Yeah. Oh, going for the Nourish.
If not now, then when? He will be able to take the game like in a couple of turns.
Yeah, okay.
And this is a safe turn. There is only weapon.
Yeah, that's true. The only difference playing the Azure Drake would have made really is that draw.
With this amount of high-cost cards in Lifecoach's hand, going for those additional mana crystals here is very good.
Yeah, so he's gonna be at 8 mana next turn. Yeah, NalGuidan. Starting to feel like an uphill battle.
Yeah, it's well for NalGuidan it's all right. Just play Lothep. You don't have to attack, really. You know you will be playing the Piloted Sky Golem. Maybe he was considering attacking with the weapon and then playing Master for Battle, but I don't see a reason for that.
All right.
I like how Nourish changed the dynamic of this. Like this Druid deck is different from the normal ramp we've seen. Normal combo deck.
Absolutely. Both the Kessin, the Nourish.
The Sky Golems.
Yeah, both the Sky Golems, really. So what do you do here? Two obvious options, right? The Sky Golem Hero Power or the Azure Drake. See what you draw, and then the Shade.
Yeah, the Sky Golem is kind of awkward because it dies to the True Silver immediately, and yeah, I guess so does Azure Drake, but you leave a Shade. You also are able to put a Shade on the board, let it grow quickly.
Would you expect a silence from Paladin?
There certainly are plenty of Paladin decks that run silence, at least one.
Yeah, even if you don't silence, though, I do like that if you put the Azure Drake in the Shade, you know what you're leaving on the board, right? It's going to be a Shade. It's going to keep growing. Meanwhile, with the Sky Golem, you're taking a bit of a risk on what could pop out from there. Generally, Sky Golems don't, they have a good record, but...
It's kind of the same thing as playing Azure Drake and Shade. The minion that will spawn out of the Sky Golem will most likely represent the same power level as the Shade.
Yeah, true that, true that. Well, we'll see what he gets.
Well, it's the minion from the Sky Golem. That 2-4 is nothing exciting.
Yeah, that was very anticlimactic, just going to get wiped out from the board, and both of them going to stay alive, too.
Now we can say the Shade was better.
Yeah, exactly. The Shade was definitely better. Azure Drake and Shade all the way. I was behind that play the whole time.
You are so smart.
But now, Lifecoach, I mean, he's been holding on to all these mana crystals. What do you do with it? Dr. Boom's here, but I feel like when you have those two minions on the opposing side, even Dr. Boom feels a little bit passive.
So you're staring at how much damage? With
11 on the board.
Yeah, 11 on the board.
That's 11 on the board. And we already said that many times, the Paladin doesn't represent burst. So again, Dr. Boom is developing a nice board, Boombots.
Okay.
Even though...
I mean, there's... The other options really aren't that spectacular.
Just a Sky Golem and a
Shade.
It's
definitely
it's not
much worse than the Azure and the Shade combination, but I add. I mean, if you're going to play the Shade, got to play with the Drake. But yeah, Dr. Boom seems a little bit more reasonable. You know, Lifecoach, I just can't agree with you this game. I'm just going to put that out there. We'll see how it pays off for him.
Oh, there is a consecration. Wow, into that poor Shade of Naxxramas.
Just most likely we're going to say goodbye to that. But it is 7 mana, so I think maybe considering just putting on his Dr. Boom.
You can get the Coghammer, get a free kill on the 6-4.
Oh, and then, okay, yeah. And then go for the consecration. And then with the Lothar, too.
That was a bit unlucky. I probably wanted to get
it on the Lothar, right? Yeah. Well, he'll still be able to clear it if he...
yeah, he still gets it.
Yeah, if he attacks here. He could even...
The Water Elemental, though, is like one of the best minions you can get out of the shred.
Yeah, free 6. He hoped for something with 2 health, like we've seen the Mage, with which is a 4-1.
Yeah, the Mage. Not going to be that lucky. Still... Okay, he's just going to keep it. He has a taunt. It will trade. It stays alive.
Yeah, that crucial taunt buff. So good in this situation, especially on that piloted Sky Golem.
That's going to be silenced.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so now just actually extra value for the silence, and then he'll be able to trade the Water Elemental for Lothar too.
Lifecoach is slowly preparing NalGuidan to die to the combo. He has that Force of Nature for the longest time. If he keeps up trading and NalGuidan is not able to steal the win with his Paladin, then maybe it will give Lifecoach an opening to get the win out of his hands.
Yeah.
The pressure is still on Lifecoach, though.
Well,
I mean, the Keeper obviously can silence the Sky Golem, but then what do? You can Force of Nature, then you can, the Force of Nature by itself doesn't clear the board.
You definitely want to... I feel like at this point in the game, when it's starting to feel like it's down to the wire, you want to keep that Force of Nature unless you see another one.
Well, the silence thing is that you do want to silence it, but you really have to silence it this turn. Maybe attacking with a Water Elemental into pilot Sky Golem and silencing it next turn was also an option.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was an alternative, I guess.
That's true. Well, he does go for the Force of Nature, and just 2 extra damage there. NalGuidan does have that Dr. Boom.
Oh, that's a fantastic card. He will be able to develop the board instantly. He He is losing the weapon though, but if he attacks with it first, that's not a problem.
Well, I mean, you still have Dr. Boom too. Obviously, it's a little bit more awkward in terms of mana. Do you think NalGuidan would be too greedy to attack with the weapon this turn, play Dr. Boom, attack again next turn, and then go for the Muster Master combo?
The Muster for Battle Quartermaster combo just puts... It doesn't even put more damage on the board? Let's see.
It's 9 plus 2 and 5, 11, 14.
For justice.
Yeah, so... Well, he's definitely going to attack no matter what.
Yeah,
Right,
11,
he's just going to go for it.
11, 14 as opposed to 9, 9 that can deal Boombot damage.
Yeah,
and can
potential.
get cleared by a single BGH. I would go for the free
That's a
freeze.
good point. Yeah, the BGH.
This board is definitely way harder to deal with for the Druid player, for sure.
Yeah, your swipe is not going to deal with this. I would not expect Starfall with... Like, Azure Drake Starfall. That's the play. You have to...
I don't think we're going to see that coming out from Lifecoach. He should still be able to stay alive, though, with the Wrath.
Yeah, I remember those days where Druids actually played Starfall.
It's a, it's an all right card. There's a lot of cards coming back, so maybe when Blackrock Mountain comes out, it will be Starfall's time to shine again. Who knows?
Oh, certainly.
I mean, we are seeing Nourish right now, so...
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought, right? We'd be playing Nourish here in March 2015.
Nobody can kill Chuck Nourish.
And Lifecoach.
You do have to rough one of those guys.
Yeah, no, you have to, absolutely. Otherwise, you're dead.
Then you might have to attack into another one and shapeshift as well, because if there's a second Quartermasters, you're dead.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Just taking the damage up front. But he's actually just going to go for the Boombot.
Oh, he has to rough, so he can like hero power. Yeah, not enough mana for that.
Yeah.
So there's like 6, 8, 9. He needs 3 points of damage.
And NalGuidan.
The mind control tech will come into play big time if he wants to.
Oh yeah, you definitely do that. You want to steal the boom.
Yeah, and then you just put down another dude.
Yeah, you
Because
cannot
no
really...
point in putting the zombie chow down now, right?
All right, then mind control tech is going to steal the 2/4.
Oh, so anticlimactic.
Well,
Now being NalGuidan, are you worried about Savage Roar? Because
Yeah.
you haven't seen one of those yet.
definitely. I mean, you want to win right now, but you
Yeah.
don't have it quite yet. So he might be forced to make a really awkward play, which means that this mind control tech might have been too ambitious, actually. Just trading the board and then getting your own Dr. Boom was far.
Oh, right, yeah,
The mind
developing.
control tech was fine, I think. But right now, if he's worried about the Savage Roar, he has to clear the Boom, but there's like no way he can use his stuff though to deal with the Dr. Boom, unfortunately. So he has to leave Dr. Boom alive and just pray that Druid doesn't have enough damage to finish the game.
Is he gonna
right
also...
now he's just playing around the one Savage Roar.
Okay. Well, he didn't take any damage to face, so that's a good news for him. He's still got plenty of other minions on board. 7 left on board for Lifecoach in terms of damage. 8 health for him. We'll see what he draws.
Well, Innervate is not it. He needs to play Azure Drake to get something. If he doesn't, Lifecoach will be eliminated from this tournament. Battle is a blank. I think that's it.
Yeah, you can see the disappointment in Lifecoach's face. He's still going to rack his brain to figure out a way, but I don't see one out of here. The mind control tech in the end doing work. I mean, it took out the Keeper to soak up all the damage from the bombs, and that's going to be game. Now, NalGuidan taking down the currently #1 ranked, power-ranked player in the world, shutting down his win streak in tournaments.
Yeah, who would have guessed beforehand?
Yeah, no, that's quite the feat for NalGuidan. I think, you can always say, sure, Hearthstone, depending on the decks you bring, you don't know how it's going to go through. There are mind games pre-match, but at the end of the day, NalGuidan is going to take the victory.
I think NalGuidan played really well, and he proved he brought the good lineup, a totally different lineup than Lifecoach, by the way. We've seen 6 different classes being played in this match, and that was amazing. Lifecoach getting eliminated from the tournament. There isn't an equality draw, but it doesn't matter.
Going with the well played.
Honestly, you could call this an upset, but honestly though, NalGuidan had probably the hardest road to this spot right now. Where he is. He was the only qualifier from the North America region to make it here. Then he had to go through Faramir, another very good European player that was invited to the top 16. And now Lifecoach, beating Lifecoach in the quarterfinals. Man, NalGuidan just Yeah, all
I-
odds against him, all odds against this unknown player, but he's proving himself that he is here to play.
Absolutely. Props to NalGuidan. We'll take a short break.